If you know mechanical keyboards, you know about switches. And if you know about switches, you probably know about Gateron. So at CES 2024, I was actually able to stop by the Gateron booth. And let me tell you, they've got some pretty cool stuff up their sleeve this year. So Gateron is at the forefront of MX style switches when we talk about brands outside of Cherry. I had the opportunity to chat with the Gateron team about their vision for 2024, and it actually surprised me quite a bit, in a good way. So many boards currently and of the past have been utilizing Gateron switches in their boards. So it actually appears that there's an uprising trend and desire to be implementing magnetic switches. Before I explain, I wanted to take a note to kind of point out the fact that it was super impressive just how many boards Gateron pretty much has a hand in. At their booth, they had a couple different boards, everything from the Black Diamond 75, the Newfie Air series, and even a brand new unreleased board from Wooting Studio called the BOOG75. Talking about that BOOG75, to my understanding, I believe that's Meletrix's and Wooting Studio's first ever keyboard to implement the magnetic switches system. Well, magnetic switches and compatible PCB. And it's actually on pre-order right now. So before I was able to fly out on my trip, I was talking to a couple of folks at Meletrix. So mostly we were in talks about our upcoming review for the Freya keyboard, which is actually coming really soon. It's at my house right now. But within our messages, they actually told me that the BOOG75 would be on display at the Gateron booth. So I was like, hang on, there is a Gateron booth, right? So naturally I had to track it down. And once I got there, aside from just testing out a lot of switches and talking to Tony, they actually let me pull the BOOG75 aside and kind of play with it and film some shots. So that's what you're seeing now. So the BOOG75 has a version that's HE, which is Hall effect. Like I said, with the magnetic switches, you can actually program where you want your switch to actuate and how fast you want it to release. So obviously that's a plus for gamers, but I'm curious if like the typing test speeds will be faster if you set it faster or not. It's interesting to check. We'll see how many words per minute we can get one of these days once we try the Hall effect. But either way, I love it. When it comes to the design of the BOOG75, there are some noticeable similarities to the Zoom 75, mostly just the silhouette aside from the module system. But when it comes to the actual overall aesthetic, this thing stands on its own. So the BOOG75 has a lot of little techie elements, which kind of have like a black and mint green colorway. I mean, this board really is a perfect meeting ground for enthusiasts and competitive gamers all in one board. Now, it comes in a pre-build, so you can get the HE version or you can get a standard version in case you don't really care for the magnetic switches or you just want to try out your own. Basically, it means the Hall effect or the HE version is an add-on. With that add-on, you'll be able to use the magnetic switches and you can kind of adjust your actuation points via software, which I'll probably end up making another tutorial video for in the future. That is if I actually get to take a chance to actually review properly the BOOG75 at home. But since we were at Gateron, let's kind of highlight the switches a little bit. The switches included in this specific board are the KS37B by Gateron. I don't know a whole lot about the materials used, but what I was able to track down is that they were using a thermoplastic of some sort for pretty much every component. One cool feature about the magnetic switches is that they're dual rail, so you won't have to worry about a lot of wobbling. It'll keep it a lot stabler. So think about it like this. If there was one little rail that slides in between, boom, 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 whenever you actuate the switch, then basically there'll be boom, boom. So you can just have like a little slit in the middle and it's very slight tolerance, so you're not gonna get a lot of wobble. It's actually a cool idea. Talking to Tony at the booth, I was able to secure some of the switches, so I'll be able to try those out later. Only problem is I don't have a magnetic board to try them with yet, so I'll keep my eyes open for another board that I'll be able to try them out with. But aside from that, man, I just got a big old bag of switches, so when I get home, I'm likely gonna do a couple of reviews for some switches that I have here. Most of them are new switches that I haven't tried yet, so I'm very interested to see what we got in store. If you guys are interested in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know down in the comments what your favorite switch is, because man, we got a whole lot of them now. Thank you guys for watching, man, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.